Over at Marvel Comics, the X-Men are still reeling from some of the after effects over in the Sins of Sinister storyline, in which the X-Men were plunged into a false reality. And to make things even more complicated for XMenRed and Storm, the people of Arakko are still left reeling after some of the events with Uranos during Judgment Day. My name is Arakko Braddock, and today, let's go ahead and see how X-Men Red is dealing with some of the after effects of previous storylines and headed into Fall of X in the climactic issue 12 of the series. But before we get deeper into the video, I want to go ahead and encourage you to consider subscribing to the channel and hitting that like button for more fantastic X-Men videos. But before we go ahead and get any further into our review, I want to give you the context behind X-Men Red 12 with Marvel Comics solicitation text for the issue. The White Sword Broken. The White Sword, the mutant Omega healer who could raise the dead and bind them to his service, had 100 warriors. Now, the first and last of the 100 have come to tell the tale of the one who destroyed them, one who is coming to test the mutants of Arakko again. And I want to go ahead and showcase our creative team over on X-Men Red 12. This one is written by Ewing, featuring artwork from Jacopo Camagni, as well as colors from Federico Blee, letters from VC's Ariana Maher, and design from Tom Muller. The issue's cover is illustrated by Russell Dauterman and Matthew Wilson. I want to go ahead and show off the cover over on X-Men Red issue 12, featuring the White Sword and some of the characters from X-Men Red, including John Ironfire, who is such a kind of prominent character over to the Sins of Sinister storyline. And I want to go ahead and take a look at some of these preview pages that Adventures in Poor Taste posted so quickly. I want to extend a quick thank you over to them and talk a little bit about what Jacopo Camagni brings over to X-Men Red 12. I really do like usual X-Men artist Stefano Caselli, but I think maybe for this story, Camagni was able to get something a little bit different out of some of the artwork, especially in terms of some of the facial expressions within the issue. I really loved how this issue opened with the White Sword having some fascinating new kind of status quo updates for the character of John Ironfire as well. I think the relationship between White Sword and John Ironfire in this issue is so interesting. There's so many little kind of plot details and reveals that I definitely don't want to spoil for you. I love the fact that Al Ewing is such a kind of plot first writer for the issue. And I think that the artwork from Camagni is able to kind of tap into some of the sinister nature of White Sword and Ironfire's conversations about Genesis coming to the Marvel Universe. But in addition, I think the tone really kind of brightens up towards the second half of the issue when we kind of check in over with some of the usual X-Men Red cast members. And I think that Camagni does a wonderful job dropping that kind of sense of tension for the second half of the story and really just kind of letting the guard down ever so slightly in this chapter here. Now, one of the things I was really interested in X-Men Red in particular was how it was going to tie into the Fall of X storyline. And towards the kind of final pages of this chapter, Marvel included a really fascinating way that this book is directly going to be tying into that tale. I definitely don't want to spoil it for you because it's our sort of last page reveal here. But I love the fact that each of these X-Men titles are inching so close towards the Fall of X story, but they all have like different or interesting ways that they're getting there. I love the fact that Marvel's editorial and the X-Men writers are kind of working so closely together to make sure that all of this is really kind of fluid and stays kind of in continuity between all the different X-Men titles here. Also, I found some of the character work for Genesis in this story to be really, really interesting. I know we're at kind of some of the first steps and stages, but I just love the way that Al Ewing is able to kind of arrange the kind of narrative over in this story. And I'm really excited to see these sort of political ramifications of Genesis kind of interacting with Storm over in some future issues of X-Men. I think that final memo over from Orcus in the issue, the final kind of text page, also gave readers a great idea of where the kind of Orcus and Fall of X plot threads are headed into XMenRed over in the near future here. And again, just loving all the kind of really smart attention to detail. I think the character of the White Sword is just really absolutely fascinating, and glad that he's been able to kind of get so much characterization across these tales. Also, I really like some of the kind of visual indication of how Al Ewing is sort of setting up the upcoming X-Men Before the Fall Heralds of Apocalypse one shot. Also, like how there was a kind of callback over to the Summoner that happened really early in Jonathan Hickman's X-Men run as well. So, really think that Al Ewing is able to use so many kind of pieces of continuity mixed together here to deliver something really fascinating over in terms of XMenRed. I think the character of John Ironfire got such a great boost coming out of Sins of Sinister, and I think this book packs in just a few more really excellent moments. Really hoping that he becomes a sort of breakout character over in future XMenRed issues. I want to know from you, what do you think about XMenRed's tie over to the Fall of X? What do you think about the kind of relationship changes over between the White Sword and John Ironfire? Let me know down in the comments below. I want to thank you so much for coming to check out this really excellent issue of XMenRed. Really love some of the work that Jacopo Camagni as well as Al Ewing brought to the tale. Well, thank you so much for coming to check out our video. Of course, we'll be back for weekly reviews over for the latest and greatest in the X-Men comics. Also, want to go ahead and encourage you to watch our video that came out just a couple days ago, kind of detailing some of the ways that the X-Men titles are headed into Fall of X. Well, thank you so much for checking out our content, and we'll be back really soon to cover everything X-Men related in the near future. Thanks so much, and I'll see you soon. Bye.